Thank you, Craig. Afternoon, everybody. One of the great rugby hotbeds reinvigorated. The Devon faithful have been treated here in recent weeks. Both last season's finalists thumped by their heroes in a torrent of tries, and Bristol will have their work cut out today. So 5 changes to the Exeter lineup made by Rob Baxter. There's an all-new front row where Scott Seo provides the international class, Jack Yendall the leadership, Aaron Painter the technical expertise. Hearty praise in the week from the boss for his scrummaging prowess. At number 8, Greg Fizzolau given a breather, so Ross Vincent stepping in, excellent in the Prem Cup. Cairns and Skinner, the new look Exeter half-back pairing. Slade playing some of his very best rugby again, and Woodburn restored on the wing, a first Premiership outing of the season. Tommy Wyatt, exceptional at fullback, with Josh Hodge sidelined by injury. Now the Bears also field a new front row this week. In comes Sam Grahamslaw for a Premiership debut on the loose head after joining from Jersey. Will Capon and George Kloska keeping him company. Caulfield switches to lock, Dunn to the blind side, with Fitzharding captaining from 7. And the Bristol backline looking really threatening these days. Kieran Marmion preferred at scrum half this week, paired with Sheedy. And then that centre pairing of Van Rensburg and Vakatawa that might just hold the key to the club's success this season. And Gabriel Ibitoye, the standout performer in the back 3 to this point. Lots of tasty matchups for you, Ben.
There are, but occasionally you look at the team sheets, you think actually one head-to-head battle could be the difference today, and I think the battle between the 2 number 7s is huge. Fitzharding against Vermeulen, both big ball carriers, both destructive tacklers, underpinned by a huge work rate. Whoever comes out on top there, I think, will go a long way to deciding this game.
Agree with you there, Ben. Got to say, when you look at the weather conditions, 9 and 10 are going to be all important, but my head-to-head, the 2 13s, Henry Slade up against Vakatawa. I know we've mentioned them loads, and we're going to mention them loads during this game because they're 2 world-class players.
Yes, please. Slade, Vakatawa, who would not want to watch that? So Bristol edged out by Jared Evans' late penalty for Quins at Ashton Gate last week. A kick that rather halted their winning progress to the season. And the Chiefs. The reinvention of the Chiefs. Chiefs 2.0. Already at an advanced stage, you would suggest. And so Rob Baxter looks to craft another piece in the club's history. But here comes Fitzharding, the captain of Bristol, the 4th youngest ever captain of Bristol, and with an important job to do this afternoon. Wins over Leicester and Saints in rounds 1 and 2 had put them in the driving seat, but you really feel this season a big one for the Bears after seeing their credentials slide in the last couple of campaigns. Pat Lam knows that better than anyone. They finished 9th and 10th in the last 2 seasons, and Ben, as we've discussed a few times, with their resources, the likes of Vakatawa, their squad, their coaches, their ambitions are well beyond that.
They are, but I also think that maybe we've all expected too much of some of their superstars before, and losing some of them, albeit getting Vakatawa back in, maybe losing some of them might actually be the making of this team. Bind them together, not have to rely on the likes of Pietau and Randrandra. Actually, some of these young local lads going out there and winning for Bristol.
Well, happily, for the moment, the rain has eased off. So with any luck, we will see the likes of Virimi Vakatawa producing his own special brand of magic. They've got some firepower for sure. Jack Yendall leads out his side for the 88th time in the Premiership. Very much the glue of this Chiefs side at the moment as they look to rebuild with fresh faces, looking to emulate those that have gone before. What a start they've made. A total of 108 points on last season's finalists in rounds 1 and 3. It's been a stellar start, and the crowd know they're witnessing something a little bit special at the moment. Riding the wave. But I guess in trademark Rob Baxter style, he points out that despite playing well, they came away from the stoop in round 2 without a single point.
Yeah, that was not a massive shock, because I think home form for a lot of these sides that we're seeing, everyone's really banking upon that. But when he slapped Saracens in the face by 65 points, devoid of all their internationals, you'd be looking to back that up. So their team, far from complacency.
Hamish Smales has the whistle. In the sunlight, which you wouldn't have believed a few moments ago as the rain tumbled down.
Not sure how long it's going to stay. Looking at the cloud over to our right.
We'll hang on to it for as long as possible. The ball is with Callum Sheedy of Bristol, and we're underway. Chiefs against Bears. And an early touch for Tommy Wyatt. Josh Hodge, as we mentioned, hat-trick hero in that opening round. Up goes Wyatt, though. He's been very calm at the back. He's an extremely accomplished player already, despite minimal outings in the Premiership. Looks to be built of exactly the right stuff. Tom Cairns at 9, one of this clutch of youngsters. Still at Exeter University at the age of 21 and holding down that scrum half shirt. Another tester for Ibitoye. It's bounced off his shoulder by the look of things, and it's been gathered in by Pearson, who goes to ground on the 10-metre line. Here's Ross Vincent. Rob Baxter really excited about his talent. Tremendous athleticism and pace, we understand. And the attempted turnover from James Dunn has gone against him.
Not the story or the start that Ibitoye would have wanted, really. A couple of errors early on, really nice at the back from Tommy Wyatt to start that movement.
Yep, take it on the 10.
Perfect exit for Exeter. Come away with the penalty. Great field position, throw into the line out. What I like about Wyatt, though, and how he beats Ibitoye, he actually stops and goes backwards, gets the fend out, and that takes away all the momentum from Ibitoye, so he can't use that momentum to get the man on the floor, and then with that still ringing in his ears, really good kick, massive kick pressure. And now the Chiefs' perfect attacking platform 1 minute into this game.
Well, for all the reinvention and the changes, they need this to remain a strength, and Pearson is lifted highest.
Release, get out!
So successful over the years from this sort of range. As they pick up through roots, this Kiwi who's been signed from the Ospreys to the short side. Big drive from Vermeulen. Vincent. Cairns swiftly away. And the pressure is growing here on Bristol. Another tremendous clattering run, and they're driving still further. Vincent's not too far away. Tuima assesses the options. Goes himself and slides over. Rush Tuima for the Chiefs. 6 clinical phases inside the 22. Not 3 minutes on the clock. They are up and running.
What a start from the Chiefs. All action, big carrying, but what I love, and maybe a slight variation from what we've seen in the glory days from the Chiefs, the variation, the one-pass runner, then the pick and go, just to give that momentum. That means the defensive line don't know where this ball's going next. In bygone days, we might have expected just the pick and go. They're thinking this is being passed by Tuima. He dummies, goes himself, and it's a one-on-one tackle rather than a one-on-three, as you might expect that close to the line. That all comes from their variation further back in the play, putting doubt in the Bristol defenders' minds, and they get the result.
Well, he's just one of the young thrusters that are pushing through to claim their shirts at the moment, Tuima. And here's one of the old guard. It's tidy from Slade and tidy from Exeter, who have made just about the dream start. Only Tuima's 7th Premiership start, and he's on the score sheet and he's being embraced every which way. Versatile player, they've deployed him at number 8 in the back row quite a bit, but locked this afternoon, and Wyatt charged down. Good chase from Noah Heward.
Here. Black, we're not huddling, let's go. Last warning, no more huddles. No more huddles.
Intent and the energy from Noah Hewitt providing Bristol with an immediate chance here as they look to spoil at the line out.
Caulfield and Batley, can they put that pressure on Yendall, really make the most of this opportunity? Stay down.
Maul.
Between for Vincent and Vermeulen, this bruising presence, but
He's broken the 10 metres before the maul's over.
That's poor.
Broken
now,
the 10
isn't it?
metres before the maul's over. Yep. Gone early, penalty on the 5. Broken the 10 metres as attacking. Here.
Exeter,
Line,
who
please.
piggybacked
Line.
up the pitch and then brilliant in their efficiency to score that
Pens
try.
here.
Couple of mistakes there, a charge
Post,
down and not
post.
getting the detail
Stay on the try
right.
line, please.
Just allow Bristol just to be able to settle the nerves, have a conversation,
No.
and give Sheedy an opportunity.
See, Vermeulen's already in front of the try line there. It's not even 10 metres away from the goal line, so he's only got to stand behind the goal line, but he just starts to creep. Spotted, I imagine, by one of the referee's assistants, fed back in, and really sharp from the officials,
Just,
but
managing
very
line one,
basic
please.
from Exeter.
Yeah, Hamish
11.
Smales was
11.
concentrating
Behind the try line, please.
in the other direction, so it's the whole point of the assistants. They're there for a reason, and now Sheedy has a chance from the tee.
Thank you.
Leaving this tight. 3, 2, 1. Oof. Well, all perfectly precise as far as Callum Sheedy was concerned. Maybe not for Bristol supporters, who might have been just a little bit edgy. Seen a bit of that, haven't we? Farrell cut it very fine yesterday, up at the StoneX. And I think there was an incident involving
9.
Orlando Bailey yesterday.
Okay, thanks. Regathered play.
Bradbury on the 22 for Bristol.
Use it!
Josh Caulfield on the carry, former chief, Somerset man. Feeds it back here for the Bears, where Kieran Marmion,
3, not now!
on the occasion of his first Premiership start, sends it long. It's a really good clearance from Marmion, who'll be no stranger to the vagaries of extreme weather, having
Line, please.
come from Connacht, of
Line.
course.
Number 7.
Ireland international, no cap for 3 years, but a terrific scrapper of a 9.
Get your timing right.
Oof. And the timing was not right, and it's been swept
gone
up by
backwards.
Capon of Bristol. Marmion to Sheedy, a little bit loose, and Van Rensburg
There's no tackle.
just dips down and allows Hendrickson to go over the top. Not sure whether we'll have another look at that again. The ball is
Background.
loose. It's been taken on and dribbled
Backwards
forwards.
again.
That's been backwards once more. Right scramble there, and Rich Lane,
Inside entry.
who did pretty well, is not
Hamish.
assisted by those others around him.
Hamish, you got some foul play, mate. It's a penalty for a high it's a high tackle by Exeter number 7
Right,
on the
so
carry
before
on
that-
Vermeulen. Yeah,
Against
Okay.
Van
So we need to
Rensburg's
have a look at
carry
those
is
penalty
fantastic.
areas.
The way he gets out of the tackle,
put it
he's
up on the screen
just
if you can.
dipping
Hold on a second,
towards
we'll look at
ground. You
some foul play.
see that
so
sudden heady dip
he's
there.
dipping, hits the shoulder first, then hits contact with the head afterwards, but it's still
Okay.
high.
Yeah, okay, so it would just be a penalty only because we're going to be on the
Yeah.
halfway. So would have had your penalty there, but we've had foul play up here. High tackle, foul play, high tackle against you, so coming back here.
So the intervention from
Yeah,
David
high
Rose,
tackle.
our TMO, has gone against
Gents,
Vermeulen.
it's on the halfway. It's on the halfway.
Used to analysing all the World Cup incidents.
tackle.
Definite clear contact there with the shoulder first, and then the arm slid up into the head, so not direct contact. That's why the element of danger is not that high, so we're not starting at a red card and then trying to drop it down for the mitigation of the drop. Just a penalty, absolutely spot on.
I'd say where Jacques Vermeulen is concerned, there's always an element of danger when you're running into him. He's one of those that does hit very, very hard.
7 men.
But it's allowed
Yeah, what's your wheel?
Bristol to march into the 22. Will Capon finds Batley.
Advantage landing on players.
And a penalty advantage.
More than once.
Marmion waiting, Ibitoye moving into the open side. Van Rensburg, Sheedy. Oh, that's clever. That's really clever. And it'll sit up, will it? It will. Just enough for a patient Rich Lane who was watching it eagle-eyed. Lovely bit of creativity from Callum Sheedy, and Rich Lane puts Bristol in front.
It's quality, really well constructed, and they have that advantage of the penalty advantage. The interesting thing about it is Exeter Chiefs were actually defending this very move in the warm-up, but still couldn't find a way. Callum Sheedy is just afforded a little bit of time, and the minute that defensive line is dislocated, does he track the ball over the top, or goes to the trusty boot, just putting the ball into all of that space there, and it's a really patient finish. Lovely move, great finish.
When you've got the threat of Jancy van Rensburg as a carrier, people want to fly up onto him, and he uses that against them. Very, very narrow on him. The speed of hands was absolutely superb, and that just got past 3 players. That meant they were all over committing. Henry Slade went too far on this man, and he threads the ball through the gap.
That's well wide from Sheedy, but they've weathered that early storm, Bristol, and they've moved in ahead by a single point here at Sandy Park.
2 really good aspects of it, 3 actually, the finish and the patience, the lovely kick. But have a look at how quickly they catch and pass the ball. 2 or 3 metre passes under pressure, which gives Sheedy that time on the ball.
Backwards.
Tap backwards, this time by James Dunn, but Chiefs have worked hard over that and secured it. Here's Yendel. Marmion asking some awkward questions, and Tuima keeps the ball alive.
Off feet, leave!
Deciding us to give up the challenge.
He's done his job, he's slowed it down. He would have wanted the turnover, but very, very good play.
Be here.
Kens to Roots. And quick ball for Marmion, who's proving quite a menace in and around the ruck, but the ball has gone to the opposition, and they're working it out to Vakatawa. That might have been forwards.
Not you, you're all right, it's the one after you.
It was knocked on anyway, and of course the Chiefs can breathe again.
Oh my word, I mean, it was all built on really good offence, a couple of good shots, Marmion sniping, trying to get the ball away, perfectly intercepted, and then it's just a bit of panic. Hot potato. Everyone trying to get to the space, and Vakatawa, he's seen the space and wants to run into it before he's even gathered the ball. But that would have been a huge opportunity, potential line break.
Everything right, Joran? Yeah, fine.
Doesn't generally need too many opportunities in broken field. Opened his try-scoring account last week against Quins, of course.
Ibitoye does really well under pressure to get the ball over the tackler's head. And to Vakatawa, probably surprised him a little bit that it came.
It's a very exciting
off,
centre pairing, Hugo, isn't it? That the complements
back on,
of the pair.
100%, and we understandably focus on Vakatawa. He's got the international acclaim and been there and done it. But Van Rensburg, I thought, was the best 12 in the Gallagher Premiership last year. Tough as boots, didn't miss a game, both sides of the ball, lovely off the tee and out of hands. Complement those 2 skill sets together in the way which Bristol want to play.
Stay where we are, that's fine, stay where we are.
First scrum of the game. A good time of it in the set piece a week ago. The Chiefs have been working very hard on their scrummage. New man has been brought in to assist on that front, in Ross McMillan. We'll talk about him in a moment or two, perhaps, as the ball is fed in by Cairns.
Okay, use it away.
Marmion looking to harass Slade at first receiver. Skinner goes wide to Wyatt. Woodburn on the chase, and Ibitoye marshalling this one.
Just the pass from Skinner just forces that check from Wyatt. Wanted to be running onto that ball at full tilt. The movement's great because they hold who they need to. They've got that extra decoy runner in Feo Waboso on the shoulder, which means they have to stay. They create the room for Wyatt, but just check him on his run.
This is Vincent.
Move out.
Tough old challenge from Capon, who's quickly back to his feet happily. This is Hendrickson. They're probing that inside channel again. Scotsio to within side of the 22. Tuima.
Backwards.
Roots. Pushes it back, and Cairns is there, looking for opportunities. Clung onto by James Dunn.
Such a threat around the breakdown, though.
Through the middle goes Pearson. Tuima, busy in the carry. Roots hit hard this time. Coldfield coming clattering in.
Tackle now.
Cairns moves that a little short.
Play, no effect.
Skinner has work to do here. A little bit of a mix-up with Woodburn.
Great defensive set from Bristol, though. Exeter 5 phases now, challenging off 9, darting, using their power game. No penalties given, no line breaks, and forcing a kick and an error for Kieran Marmion and Exeter Chiefs. Quality defensive set.
Yeah, the Cairns kick just didn't quite have the angle on it that he wanted.
Option, 22 or scrum.
See Exeter's game plan.
22,
If they win
22,
that collision, as we saw with that first try, they will get on top and they will get that momentum. So absolutely imperative that Bristol stop them at the game line. They're playing.
Oh, hello. Sheedy kicks long, and Faye Waboso is back there. And here's Tommy Wyatt. Another too easily through the challenge of Ibitoye.
No, all right. Play.
Pearson. Bristol doing really well to stem the flow of these Chiefs attacks at the moment, and that's the requirement.
No, go for the ball.
For Exeter to just vary it up. Little chip kick on that occasion, but Bristol back in possession.
Tackle, release, knee to floor.
Marmion to Capon. Sheedy, goodness, had to get that away quick, and Woodburn is waiting to swallow up his man. Fired long by Noah Heward, and Wyatt is waiting.
Come.
Sheedy holds his nerve.
Hold.
Some
Out the 10.
scruffy looking kick, but actually quite effective into open space, and a tricky bounce for Skinner. And a good clearance taken quickly by Ibitoye, who doesn't want to hang about.
Holding. 5.
Faye Waboso, oh dear.
Backwards
He needs to switch back on here.
So busy berating himself for the error. Ibitoye was swiftly into position.
Well, it's a really good shot, isn't it, from Ibitoye. He's been bought a bit of time, put the pressure. I mean, that's a kick 3 metres from the try line, sorry, the sideline. He'll be disappointed. But that's why you have that sense of accuracy to put people in awkward positions.
Can the Bears muster from here?
Small.
Taken in by Dunn.
Backwards once.
And Capon has it.
No, he doesn't. You've had you once already. Same more balls here. Get out 3.
Inch by inch. Chiefs just struggling to hold this.
Penalty advantage.
And there's a penalty advantage now behind the Bears as they break away.
Be onside.
Good options here for Bristol. That's out. And picked up and fed onwards.
It's a big in-goal area here as well at Chiefs.
Bristol have got really good width here.
Tackle, release. Be on side, step.
Sheedy maybe looking for the crossfield.
Van Rensburg, Sheedy again, there it is. And once more it's Lane on the end of it, and Lane scuttling away.
Well, Lane's been stood out there for a number of phases, but rather than go straight to Sheedy and then kick the crossfield and maybe the cover gets over, that little bit of interplay again using Jancy van Rensburg means that defensive line has to come in and stay tight. See that player coming back towards it in case the movement's on. That's what gives him the advantage. Lane in the wide channel, comes off the touchline, scores the try, but just that little bit of deception rather than going straight to the crossfield kick buys a fraction, maybe 2 meters of time for Lane, and he does the rest himself.
Pinpoint accuracy once again. It's an awful and awkward situation that White finds himself in, having to make a one-on-one tackle, but you've got to get into that space with so much more urgency just to be able to clatter someone man and ball. Instead, Lane gets the opportunity to catch it, pirouette. 2 from 2.
2 from 2, and it's been a little while since he scored in the Premiership, more than a year, and now 2 on the day here at Sandy Park. And Sheedy, the architect of both of those, denied by the upright. Rich Lane enjoying himself, and of course Max Maylis to come back for the Bears, but this kind of finishing is just going to make that conversation a little more interesting.
It's hard for him though, isn't it, Hugo? Because Woodburn's the outside defender before him, and he's actually on the kicker, so
yep.
If he drifts too far too early, the pass is on.
Yeah, 100%.
Decent gather from Lane, and a good clearance as well. I'm not entirely sure that was the restart of Harvey Skinner's dreams.
Top of the line, we'll get them for you.
You could argue with the greasy conditions that the low scudder quite effective potentially. Having scored their opening try on the 3-minute mark, Chiefs now being asked some awkward questions. Roots goes up.
More broken away.
Tuima taking on Marmion.
Beyond here.
Scott Sear, huge experience at Loosehead, Australian international.
Maybe just coming in from the side there a little bit. Referee saying I didn't see it, but next to get it back anyway.
Cairns' box kick. Ibatoye, oh, brilliantly claimed by Feiwa Boso. More than making up for what happened at the other end of the pitch, but Cairns needs to get there in a hurry. Here's Vermeulen to Yendel. Exeter trying to raise the temperature now. CO again, getting through a lot of carries. A big tackle this time from Batley. Tuima. Skinner. Really strong run from Hendrickson. Vermeulen again. Once more, some excellent tackling from Bristol on the gain line. Cairns is sniping.
He's a real threat, Cairns, isn't he? Those guard defenders either side of breakdown having to stay razor sharp. Just needs to make sure he doesn't get lost at the bottom of the ruck, though. They need him on his feet. It's a little bit slow to a couple of the breakdowns as a result.
Woodburn to Tuima. Woodburn.
No.
Bristol have done their first job, which is to slow up this possession. As Vincent carries. Cairns to Vermeulen. Real power in the contact. As James Dunn gets spun out of the ruck. Vincent, quick transfer. That looked a little high, and that's the penalty given up. Cairns assessing the options. Skinner this time crossfield for Wyatt. Oh, couldn't gather it one-handed. Slade, in fact, who was hurtling down that wing.
Great option though, Skinner. As soon as he gets
the
penalty advantage, one thing on his mind. He's seen Henry Slade out there.
Got plenty of time.
Yeah, there's two players involved. Yeah, 7 hits. He's dropping, and then
be yellow. So we've dropped down to a penalty. The second player involved, so it's going to be a penalty only. So what do you want to do?
His number 1 was the second player in, mate.
Just skips on.
Time off,
Blaming that
man down, injured.
big downpour before the game kicked off, and the ball skipping on so fast.
That's a play injury.
As a winger, or over one that ball on or over the try line, or up and contestable. That's one of those which are just slightly awkward. Whereas Alia, if that's over the try line, he dives, he catches it. All he's got to do is put it down. But that a metre from the try line, and we're talking fractions, aren't we? But that's a potential opportunity, especially when the space is there.
So a little breather here. And a reminder for all of you watching that the Rugby Review will happen from 5:15 this afternoon on TNT Sports 1. All the highlights, all the tries of this round of action in the Gallagher Premiership, and then a little later on this evening from 8:30 the NBA takes centre stage again, the Raptors against the Spurs from 8:30, and all the European football exclusively live on TNT Sports. The Champions League, Europa League and the Europa Conference League. It all continues from Tuesday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon for all the European football.
Second man in, falling tackler, a falling ball carrier.
Well, we're seeing some aerial skills this weekend, aren't we? Faye Waboso, excellent under the high ball just a moment ago. What about that from Tyrone Green at the stoop yesterday? Just a ludicrous finish that was.
Absolutely world class. We look at numbers and statistics quite a lot. It doesn't often tell the picture. Exeter, 32 carries, loads, 1 and 2 over the game on loads of metres. Bristol, 6 carries, 3 metres, 2 tries. Ridiculous. But Tyrone Green, I mean, we're only a few rounds into the season. You won't see a better finish than that this year.
No, you surely not. But actually a really good example of what you were just talking about. You know, at least put it in the in-goal area. So if you're going to ground it, you do it right where it needs to be.
Yeah, Callum Sheedy on both of his kicks. One's over the try line, dot it down. The other one is contestable. Easy to collect, use some footwork, score it. When you push it as far as that, and Marcus Smith did push his yesterday, bailed out by a bit of excellent athleticism.
Let's get the timing right, please.
Right then.
Straight up and down. Get the
after a lengthy delay, Exeter pressing.
They're working hard on this factor.
2 balls.
In the warm-up, Exeter. We've already seen Bristol have a decent drive at the other end. This is a big super strength of the Chiefs, though. They will want to impart their superiority right now.
It's Pearson's ball. And Bristol gather around, try to repel the drive. And they've given up the penalty as they do that.
You got a penalty advantage. He's got my legs. Look.
Out it pops for Tuima. And they're going to need to reset them all. Out it comes for Hendrickson. Nice step, and he stayed on his feet really well. Tricky one for Roots. I think that might have gone forwards, hence the whistle. And Yendall moving swiftly into position.
Just wonder they were going to go for the quick tap with Yendall there. Just wonder whether they'll want to stick it back. It was such a blatant...
Gents, penalty given against you. Go back to the line, please.
Such a blatant penalty from Bristol that it puts a bit of extra. Katawa just discussing the Moore penalty with a couple of the extra backs there. They are going to go for the tap and go, though.
It's Yendall's. And it's for Mullins. And there's trouble brewing here for Bristol. Another penalty given up. Free shot on offer for the Chiefs. Ethan Roots driving really low. And Painter! It's the big tight head. Using every single one of his kilos and driving hard over the line.
He uses his nous as well because he doesn't go forward when he picks up the ball. That invites Jancy van Rensburg to come and try and make a tackle with no momentum to knock the big man over with, and he just pushes him down to ground, steps out of the tackle and goes again. Here he comes, eyes on the ball, watch him now, he doesn't go too far forward, survives the first tackle, steps out of it, and then uses all that weight, a little bit of strength just to get himself through Fitzharding at the end.
Okay.
Smart play from Painter. Often people try and rush, pick and go flying towards the line, and they get knocked over by their own body weight.
Slade putting Exeter back in front. And Aaron Painter on the board, having signed from Northampton Saints. Interesting discussion in the week regarding his scrummaging power and the potential that Rob Baxter really feels he's got to nail down not only this shirt but perhaps press for a white one in the international game. Here's Wyatt.
On the foot, Joshy! Joshy! Use it! Yep, take him back.
Cairns drives it long. Ibitoye fields. And then straightens really well. Brought down by Permulan, who makes the tackle and then snaffles the ball. Brilliant from the Chiefs' open side. They need to take care of this possession as they move beyond halfway. That's Vermeulen again. Seo on the carry, getting through a mountain of work. Skinner to Slade.
9, stop.
Tricky one for Rich Lane.
Hold in front.
Very effective clearance from Lane. Up she goes from Skinner. Woodburn hunting that one down.
Backwards off white.
And then very effectively, rather adeptly done by George Kloska. Marmion looking for territory.
It's a tidy kick.
Skinner decides to take on all comers.
Hold.
It's landed in no man's land.
Now.
Great pressure from Batley, got the half tackle in, just did enough to put Skinner off.
Oh dear, that was very high on Sheedy. And Lewis Pearson hands up in apology straight away.
Just high tackle. Yeah.
Thankfully, it looked rather more dramatic than it actually was.
If he picks it up, he will. Let's go.
It's what they'll be looking at is whether there's any actual neck or head contact. Certainly, initially goes over the shoulder, but obviously they're happy that it hasn't slid up and hit the head or neck.
Post goal.
They'd have been intervening.
So a shot at goal for Callum Sheedy, and a chance for us to bring Stuart Hogg in. Hoggy, what are you seeing, particularly from the Chiefs to this point? What's your assessment of the opening half hour?
It's a bit stop-start so far, I think. You know, Chiefs are only making on average 3 metres per carry, and you can see when they're getting things right, they're getting on the front foot, the momentum's good, they're getting outcomes that they deserve. On the flip side of that, they're starting to force their hand a little bit. Tom Cairns, a couple of little loose kicks that, you know, Bristol have then punished the Chiefs on, so there's a little bit stop-start, but on the flip side of that, you know, Bristol have had 2 opportunities to score tries and they've nailed both of them. So the Exeter defence, I'm not quite sure how it's unfolding at the minute. They're trying to bring some line speed. They're really, really quite tight, but they're not shutting them down enough. So it's a decent enough start to the game, though.
Good stuff. Thanks, Hoggy. Once again, shot clock deep in the red, and yet Callum Sheedy knows exactly what he's doing. Although it's just a little short, and that was so low on the trajectory from Tommy Wyatt, and it's handed Bristol a golden opportunity. Batley now for the Bears.
Tackle off the ball as well on Van Rensburg.
Steady.
Van Rensburg, he's given that straight to Feo Waboso.
First man.
Big challenge, he's won it back, Van Rensburg. Terrific effort there on the jackal. Here's Vakatawa, he's dropped it. And there's quite a lot going on one way and another.
Yeah, I mean, it's hectic, frantic. When Van Rensburg went down it. I think it should be a penalty for Bristol, about 15 metres a little bit further up.
It's tackled off the ball, gives it back to Exeter and then goes and steals it back. This is the steal at the end. Really good technique.
Left of the mark, please.
Well then, we've had an entirely new front row come on for Bristol. On the 30-minute mark, Wilmore, Thacker and Laheath have replaced Graham Slaw, Capon and Kloska. That feels like a pre-plan.
Bear squad.
The Bear squad, very good. But this is only our second scrum of the match.
Bind. Set. Use it away. Use it away.
And Cairns under a bit of pressure from referee Smales. Slade on the kick. Noah Heward waits. And Heward goes lateral and he's nearly got away, spiralling through two, bouncing off the third. Marmion, Ivitoye, and Caulfield smashed by Yandel, picked up by Fayewa Boso. Options here for the Chiefs. Lovely stepping from Fayewa Boso, can't quite get it away to Hendrickson. It's gone forwards as it hit the deck. But opportunities and a little glimmer of hope.
He loves catching Bristol napping, but what I have noticed is he's getting offside. He's creeping, trying to get those intercept opportunities to get away with it. Really, really good carry this. The spinning, the leg drive. Fantastic from Hewitt.
Okay, time off. Didn't see him down.
But then just on that last play, Fayewa Boso was creeping. They get away with it. He picks it up. And then it's just that last offload. Can't get that right hand free. Just see him there creeping in front of the back foot, going. He's desperate for that intercept opportunity. If I was Bristol, I'd just be having a word with the referee. There's a couple of times that they've turned over by a really quick defensive line. You might just be saying, can you just check they're onside, please, sir?
Let's have a word with Rob Baxter, the Chiefs Director of Rugby. Rob, what's your reading of what we've seen to this point?
Great.
A little scrappy, isn't it? A little scrappy. We've probably hurt ourselves as much as anything else. Just kind of, we made a few individual errors, you know, probably not been quite decisive as we could have been in something like, I say, our kicking game in bits and pieces. That's just created a couple of field position pressure points that Bristol have done well and converted. And I think that's it, really. I think we're not quite clicking, but we're going to have games like that. And I think that this is an interesting one for us in a way, because it'd be interesting if we can kind of battle through it and talk our way through it and set the leaders say the right things in the group to kind of settle everyone down and get us right on track. Yeah,
we've spoken about the youth, obviously, that have come through spectacularly in the last few weeks, particularly Rob. I mean, the individual errors and that slight lack of chemistry, that's going to be inevitable, is it not?
It will happen occasionally. The important thing is that when a mistake happens, it doesn't dent you into the next part of the game, the next action, and that's kind of what's happened today. So, you know, if we get something a bit wrong at a line out, fine, we get it a bit wrong, you know, but we don't make the second mistake. So, you know, what have we done? We lost the line out, then we gave a penalty in the middle of the park. We miss field in the backfield, and then we give away a penalty in the maul that gives them a free shot on a crossfield kick. That's what's happened to us today, and that's probably the lesson for the younger guys to learn, is that one mistake doesn't need to learn to the next one. You move on quickly, and you don't give the opposition two goes every time you give them one.
Brilliant, Rob, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
A little bit fortunate with that penalty.
I think it's a harsh one.
But even so, it's poor from Hendrickson and Slade. Both take the same man and they both clear out. He's done for putting his hands on the floor. Maybe that's right, but you've got to make sure that you clear out. You target the biggest threat at the ball. You can see him in there, and two players go past, take the same man and do not deal with Jancy van Rensburg. We know how good he is over the ball. We've seen him turn over already. You've got to be accurate, but they get away with it and they've got great field position.
Of course, for Newland, the efficiency needs to be on point here, but they have that advantage, Exeter.
He's through the middle.
And they're working this quite effectively, although being pushed sideways to some degree.
Get out of the way.
Cairns will want to burrow in there for that.
Lifting a leg.
It's got to speak to Bristol. It's the fourth penalty now in the red zone. 3 from the maul, sorry. 1 offside.
Lifting legs in the maul.
A little bit further out, so
let me deal with that.
Slade's just looking off to his left, but that's why they're not going to have the tap penalty. But I think this suits them. The pressure is now on the referee to make a decision here. There's that Vermeulen leg being lifted. He leaves it up there just to make sure the referee's seen.
Okay.
So critical moments at the back end of the first half here.
Be same for both sides.
5 minutes to play.
He'll stay 2 metres until
1 point in it. And Exeter looking to reassert the dominance they had in those opening few minutes. Up goes Tuima.
Advantage, penalty,
and another penalty given up. Here's Yendel. Carrying right into the heart of that Bristol defence.
Be onside. 9, you've got penalty advantage.
Caulfield going really low. Still effectively a free shot, and Skinner knows it. That one's a much better crossfield kick. Up goes Woodburn, and enough on that from Rich Lane, who then covers as Tommy Wyatt gathers it in.
I would check that last catch as well.
Too many penalties. Got ourselves down into this corner, and the man's taken him out early in the line-out. Okay, so next one goes to the bin.
Sorry, Joshua. Rules come up, then come down, but we hit too early.
Yeah, hit early.
Can I have a chat with him?
Yeah, have a chat with him. It's coming across here.
So last warning as regards the penalties in this area of the field from Hamish Smales. You weren't at all sure about that challenge from Rich Lane cross-field, Hugo?
It's a bit flappy.
No, unfortunately not. Okay, let's go. Wait for them to get set.
We'll examine that in a minute or so, perhaps, depending on the outcome here. Yendel from close range. Oh, left for Vermeulen, and now here's Yendel trying to just take 1 or 2 bodies out of the equation. Vermeulen driving, still driving. He might have made it, you know.
No,
I think his knee was down.
We've got penalty for offside. Ball down, ball down.
Well, that's
Number 2, you're offside.
there we go. There's the yellow card, and that's the end of a short appearance for the time being for Harry Thacker. Sent to the bin.
Still want to go quick here, keep the pressure on.
Yendel.
Move! Be onside!
Bristol throwing everything at this defensively. Pearson, the latest on the challenge. Skinner.
Work and be onside, hands and feet.
Painter. There it is.
I think there was a leg under there.
I've got held up.
Found a way to the grass.
I've got held up. Yeah, held up. You'll look at it in the background. Held up.
Well, it's Marmion who's the last man up for Bristol, who's done a remarkable job there.
Sorry?
With the juggernaut coming at him.
Yeah, Ibatoye gets involved as well. This is the one just before. Gets them within range. What's that? Metre and a half. Marmion calling across.
Well, let's go, please.
Gets him. It's brilliant from Marmion.
Makes the initial hit, latches on, and then falls backwards. He knows he's not going to win that battle of strength with Painter, so he uses all his guile just to almost wrap and fall over the line with him.
Ross Vincent using Ethan Roots. That's a bruising run from the blind side. Vincent runs into trouble, runs into the Bristol captain. Skinner did well to get that away. Wyatt makes it to the 22. Cairns. Oof. Hit hard by Batley. Roots again. Challenge coming in from Van Rensburg. Painter steals another half metre. Vincent.
Ball is out, ball is out.
Slade off. And the drop from Harvey Skinner. So Bristol putting in a big old defensive shift over the course of the last few minutes.
Yeah, 22 and out. They're excellent, aren't they? Defending valiantly, not giving away too many penalties. 11. It's an unforced error, of course 14. It is. Harvey Skinner, a lot better player than 14, that.
White.
Will be disappointed.
He's saying 14. 14. He's saying 1-4, isn't he? 1-3, sorry, thank you. 13 sub. 13 sub. Sorry.
Well, he's been very, very good in the first few weeks of the season, Harvey Skinner. And listening to Rob Baxter talk about him, it's instructive because, of course, he's learnt so much from Joe Simmons, from Gareth Steenson, but most importantly of all, it feels like he's had to really work for his opportunity, and the boss thinks he's got a lot of steel off the back of those apparently frustrating years, but absolutely critical ones.
100%. I think whenever we see youthful talent come into any team and we get a glimpse of it, we want to jettison them straight into the team and say lead the team. The 10 is such a pivotal position, and sometimes you have to be frustrated and be patient, because any player in the Premiership can play one good game. The challenge to any young player is, can you back up last week's performance with this week's performance and next week? And he's certainly done that this season.
Crouch.
So Capon, sorry Hugo, Capon into the front row here because Thacker's serving time in the bin, obviously. They need a hooker to scrummage. Vakatawa's come off.
I think that's an interesting call.
Both of us went on that far side early, OK?
Take your 13 off.
I'll do it louder, but
take a winger off and maybe just make the back three work really hard and try and split that pendulum. But to take off an outside centre, which is such a big defensive role.
I just wonder whether it's the timing of that we're at in the game.
Patience.
A few minutes before half-time. You've left your best, obviously your best defensive centre on there to organise things. Maybe, new into the squad. You're not quite sure whether he completely understands your defensive system yet. I think that's all about surviving for the rest of this half.
Well, this is proving a very frustrating scrum.
Fight hard to stay square. Fight hard to stay square. Stay up, please, as well. OK, fight hard to stay square. Stay up. Yep.
They've been putting a lot of emphasis on this, the Chiefs particularly. We mentioned Ross McMillan. He's the guy that's been brought in by Rob Baxter to assist Rob Hunter in that department. And they are very, very keen that their tight head and their loose heads are high-quality technical scrummagers. That is the priority. We spoke about the Tyke Furlong effect, the steppers, the dancers, the distributors who stand at first receiver and do all sorts. And Rob said effectively, well, if they turn into that, that's great. That's not their day job.
They've got to have the core skill.
Stay behind the ball. Use it away.
Marmy into Sheedy, who gives the impression he's going to run into the car park there for a minute, but that brings the first half to a close. Very, very tight. Fascinatingly poised here at Sandy Park. 2 tries apiece. Tuima after just a couple of minutes for the Chiefs, and Erin Painter much later. In between those two, Rich Lane twice on the end of crossfield kicks to touchdown for the Bears. Half-time, Exeter 14, Bristol 13. So Harvey Skinner is ready, so too is Hamish Smales. No changes to Exeter, as this is taken in by Van Rensburg.
Sorry.
Marmion goes long. Wyatt. Big chase from Skinner, and Marmion's going nowhere as a consequence.
Counter looks good. Play picked up
And carried on by Vincent. Keeps that alive nicely. Tuima, Vermeulen, Hendrickson cuts back and then straightens. Great work from the inside centre, making terrific ground. Clawed down by Lahif. Here's Pearson. Hit hard in the tackle.
Pause there.
Cairns, never afraid to have a dart, is he? Chiefs very tightly packed for the time being. Ross Vincent waits wide out on the right. Instead they head left, and Skinner into the traffic, or a little bit isolated as well.
Not lifting.
Bristol doing a really good job in those outside channels, just getting up with their line speed, trying to divert the attention away from where they're potentially vulnerable and keeping them back in to where it's locked and loaded.
No.
Still they go to the short side, and Cairns is having another dig himself. Important carry to the short side, and then they crash forwards and over through Tommy Wyatt. Well, the pressure told in the end. Time spent in the 22, and this time clinical execution.
All starts with a big turnover. Looks like Bristol have dealt with it, but watch Yendall here, how he just goes past the ball. That allows the chaos to happen behind. The ball's picked up. They're running with it. Vincent, the man to pick it up. They're off playing, and then when they get into this corner, we've seen those darts from Cairns, and one team that can get away with that is a team that likes to pick and go. So when Cairns goes himself, they've always got bodies in there, and it's the speed of this pickup. Really well done from Wyatt. Beats the defenders back into position just by catching them off guard. That means he wins the one-on-one battle with Batley, and he goes over.
It's a really good pick and go, but defensively, you can't have a fullback be doing a front rower and a second rower 2 metres from your try line.
Two more from Slade. And the Chiefs opening up a little bit of clear ground between themselves and the Bears.
Again, it goes back to what I said for the first try, just that variation, slow pick up there, everyone switches off, thinks it's going to be another slow pick up. Ugo's absolutely right, look how slow Laheath and Batley are to get into position there. And he just wins the race, Tommy Wyatt.
His first ever Premiership try, and he's on the ball now, just setting it up for Tom Cairns. Heward, smashed to the ground by Woodburn, and an excellent counter ruck, but Woodburn crawling in the eyes of the referee, crawling forwards.
You'll sometimes get away with using your hands on the floor to balance yourself, but if it gives you too much an advantage, you can see there he's just crawled right through, and that's given Exeter the advantage. Everyone else follows him. Vermeulen probably thinking he's going to stay on his feet. Absolutely the right call, that.
Numbers, sorry. Yeah, we'll get them. Time on, please.
First Premiership outing of the season for Ollie Woodburn, second on the all-time scoring list for the Chiefs at this point in his career. Capon to the tail, was that straight? Didn't feel terribly straight.
It's fine. Beyond 15. It's fine, don't change.
Bristol profiting off the back of it. And now they've got a penalty advantage. Marmion to Sheedy, once again cross field, and that's gone over the head of Wyatt! Brilliant! Hat-trick time! That partnership, that pairing, Sheedy and Lane today, pitch perfect.
It's a brilliant hat-trick, all from kicks from Sheedy. Get him in your fantasy rugby team. I've got to say, the accuracy is what we're talking about in the first half. Make it contestable, put it into position. Wyatt, brilliant try, but you've got to understand where you are in the pitch and where the threat is coming from. Bristol, one man down in the backs. Well, it didn't matter for this. Yeah. This is absolute perfection.
Thank you.
No problem.
Because it's penalty advantage, Lane can 100% commit to that. He's not worried about it not quite making it and then getting picked off and Exeter go the length. He knows they're coming back for the penalty, so he just goes, right, I'm going to go full tilt at this ball.
Okay, thank you.
Sits perfectly into his hands.
A terrific bit of execution and opportunism on the part of Rich Lane, just doing exactly as he needed to, timing his run to perfection, and that is an excellent conversion. So once more it is a 1-point ball game,
and he's also not put off by the potential of Wyatt taking this. He gambles, he backs himself that Sheedy gets the ball up and over. and into his hands and over the try line.
So Thaka is back with us, and Vakatawa is also, he's in the middle of the washing machine at the moment.
Just that's a little reminder to Bristol, they're going to have to be careful. The counter-ruck's starting to build from Exeter now. Bristol need to make sure they send enough resources to the breakdown.
Move out.
Laheath being buffeted this time.
Don't pull, please, 6. Use it.
15 on 15 once again as Marmion clears for the Bears. Just about makes touch. But a close run thing.
Whole of Bristol's front row. Okay. I'm sorry, Exeter.
And
Exeter 1, 2, 3. Exeter 1, 2, 3.
To the 2 props and the hooker for the Exeter Chiefs. Theo Yendel and Painter, replaced by Abuladze Frost and Josefa Scott. Aaron Painter, one of the 3 try scorers today.
Okay, thank you. Time on, please. More.
Tuima with the line-out ball. Henry Slade, the new skipper, here he is, hitting the gain line, driving through the tackle, and picked up brilliantly, and storming away through the middle, trying to provide a little bit of extra support, Frost.
Tackle.
And doing an amazing job. There he is again, looking to play 9. It has gone backwards, but the tackles rein in.
Yeah, ball is out.
What an arrival from the bench from Dan Frost. Instant energy, instant impetus.
Penalty advantage.
Roots for the Chiefs with a penalty advantage, and intense on wreaking havoc from this close range. Woodburn with Josefa Scott for company. For Mullen, Vakatawa lining him up.
Use it. Ball's there.
Searching for the bonus point try, Exeter. And working their way very, very close, but always with the advantage.
Offside. There.
Frost,
he's gone.
Eager to get on with things. Here he is. Driven back in the tackle.
Be onside, all of you.
Ross Vincent, really, really low. Tuima. Desperation from Bristol, and they've done enough. Really digging in.
Huge defensive set. The break from Frost is outstanding. Ibatoya does a really good job of preventing the pass, bringing him down. But what a defensive set on the line from those Bristol forwards.
Let's have a word with Pat Lown, the Bears Director of Rugby. Pat, what's going to win this match?
The little things that make a difference, catching high balls, making those tackles around the rucks, preventing, when they kick the ball, preventing runners coming through, all the discipline, playing in the right areas. This is what it's like at this level.
Yeah, and you've been putting in a big old defensive shift, not just here, but also in the first half too. You've been repelling the Chiefs from close range pretty effectively for the most part.
Yeah, we have been, but we just had a word at half-time how we just need to double up a little bit close to when they get close to our line. They got over a couple of times, so I was really pleased with that set there. It was exactly what Craner spoke about at half-time.
And what about your partnership between Callum Sheedy and Rich Lane? 3 today.
Yeah, well, they're good mates, and they practice that a lot, and we knew there was opportunity out there in this game with the way that Exeter defend, but it still comes down to the accuracy and the cohesion, and those two are certainly pretty close on that.
Can you talk me through as well your replacements in the front row, which came on after half an hour, pre-planned?
Yes, the 3 boys at the beginning had 30 minutes to go out, and I thought they were outstanding. Just go and give it everything, and then we can finish with our more experienced guys for this game. And same with Dan Thomas. We just loaded our pack, moved James Dunn back in, and bring Dan Thomas in for the second half here.
Interesting stuff. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Big scrum here, reset. Abeladze ended up spinning underneath Laheath on that first one, the referee resets it, and then over-eager Exeter to make amends for that spilled ball. They go early, and an easy line clearance for Sheedy.
Interesting philosophy, isn't it? Because when you look through Bristol Bears' bench, I mean, there's a huge amount of experience right throughout it. Thacker, Warmore, Laheath, Holmes, Thomas, Randall, Piers O'Connor.
Let's get onto our mark.
And it's working at the moment.
Stay on your mark, yeah.
Yep, I guess the proof will be in the final 20, probably, won't it?
Yeah.
2 metres.
You see the effects of some fatigue at least. But here's Frost, who's made his mark early. For Exeter, Tuima gathers in a second attempt, and Cairns is off and running. He's going to make life really interesting with Stu Townsend when he's back fit, which hopefully is not too far away. Sam Maunder is a little way off, but they've got a trio of nines there that can really cause some trouble. The ball has been stolen by Bristol, and Van Rensburg gets it away, but it's intercepted by that man Faye Wabosso, who's been sniffing forward all day long.
Always in the eye line, quality defensive read.
Tackle!
Youssefa Scott driven back.
Not on the ball, leave it now, second man.
Skinner, Hendrickson. Slade drops it on his foot, and off goes Wyatt. And I just wonder if Sheedy got a boot on that before it went out. The assistant referee believes that he did.
He'll have a look at it if he does. I don't think there was.
A little bit of a shove there. Can't push a guy. That's going to be a penalty the other way.
Before he kicked the ball.
Okay, so before he touched the ball, he was pushed in the back.
Pushed in the back, yeah.
Fine. Push in the back. Push, yeah. 115.
Well, I guess it's tempting.
Yeah, you
in
can't
that
push a player.
Knowing that the ball's heading into touch.
Causes there, but just watch here. Watch what happens to Cairns. It's the turnover. He's at the bottom of your screen, getting held by Harry Thacker. That's why he's not there to clear the ball, and a turnover's made. So all sorts of skullduggery going on out there. I love it.
And Sheedy clears. So what looked like a very damaging situation
5 and 8
has turned into a rather more promising one for Bristol.
Yeah. Ultimately, you can't play a player off the ball.
Take that. Okay. Time on.
Another change. And Dapis Jenkins is with us. Welsh international, played in that quarter-final against Argentina for Wales. Back from the World Cup and now into the second row for Exeter. In the meantime, on goes Bradbury. Quiet game to this point, Magnus Bradbury. Woodburn, lots of time.
Free kick, 10.
Probably 10 yards too long, that kick, wasn't it, to really threaten Woodburn. Here's Rich Lane, who's already notched up his hat-trick.
Always inside. Hold in front!
Skinner. Lane again. And this time he's held by Vermeulen.
Use it! Okay, steady, you
So
2-8.
Exeter Chiefs are thin in the backfield here, so if we get a decent kick, once again it's a fraction too long.
Wyatt slips through the challenge of Noah Hewitt. He's still going.
He's got great fend on him, hasn't he? He's done that a couple of times, just held that initial tackler off with his arm.
And the crowd thought that Bristol was straying offside. Chiefs still in possession. His roots barrelling his way into Woolmore.
Play, strip before the
ball has been stripped, and
tackled.
Marmion tucks it on its way, and Skinner has to be watchful here.
Play the ball!
Gets to his feet, but Marmion and Thomas arrive quickly.
Ball's out to your own man, 16, keeping it in.
Just needs to make sure he stays on his feet. He's already been done for going off his feet when Bristol had the ball, but
team going forwards.
Latches on, maybe could have been guilty of sealing off there. Great steal from Warmore, isn't it?
It's excellent. I mean, puts it into this. Where's the energy? You've got Harvey Skinner on his own. You need to get up, get after, be incredibly physical, and then put everything through that. Turn the ball over. This is passive at this point. One player tackle, and just leaving it alone.
Okay, let's get set up, please. Front rowers.
Cracking job by him, though, bailing his team out.
Jets, Mark's here, left off. Come on, let's go. Yeah, so come left off. Yeah.
Randall for Marmion at 9 for Bristol.
And then we'll be in the gaps. Let's go.
A bright first start in the scrum half shirt for the Bears for the Irishman.
Crouch.
Harry Randall. Very much one of the leaders in this group now, we understand.
Set.
Looking to put the pressure on Cairns, but Exeter win the scrum penalty.
Overextended and collapse. There we go.
New look front row taking the plaudits. Loves it, Frost, doesn't he? Dan Frost. Having been a former Cornish pirate, obviously spent quite a bit of his time with Wasps and then came back down to the southwest. He's made a big impact. And Hewitt and Lane look at each other as if to say, well, what were we supposed to do there?
Yes,
it's a big win. Exeter getting themselves out of jail. Max Leave not agreeing with the scrum penalty, is accused of having his feet too far back. He was saying that Avalanche hinged at the hips, and that's why he ended up on his front.
Too long in the leg. On that side, yeah. Yeah, okay. Appreciate that.
Attention for the Wilmore boots, and in the meantime another change at 9 this time.
Please, thank you.
For the Chiefs, Niall Armstrong replacing Tom Cairns.
Just stay where you are, please. Don't go.
Former Exeter University man replacing the current Exeter University man. Try against Sale here last week for Armstrong, and now charged with delivering possession to the skipper. Slade accelerates really well onto the ball. Tuima, been impressed with him today, although that's gone forwards in contact.
Just put a bit too much pressure on his new 9, Armstrong, didn't he? Committed to the line early, which meant that when the ball finally arrived for him, 2 Bristol defenders were in his face, couldn't quite hold it.
There's a mark.
So all the highlights from round 4 of the Gallagher Premiership tonight from 5:15 at the conclusion of this contest. A lot to decide in the next 22 minutes, isn't there, with just the 1 point separating these sides at the moment. And then 8:30 tonight, the NBA, the Raptors against the Spurs on TNT Sports 1. And don't forget, from Tuesday at 5 o'clock, all the European football exclusively live on TNT Sports. The Champions League, Europa League, the Europa Conference League, Tuesday from 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Who've Liverpool got in the Champions League this week, then?
Here's Randall, hold that thought. Cross they go to Hewitt. He's got some space here, and Woodburn is measuring him up. And he's done very well to flip that off the deck to Randall. Good drive from Thomas as well. They've held him up, though. Exeter for just long enough. And the Chiefs choke tackle doing the business in the end, but a moment that Bristol thought might produce something rather exciting.
It was exciting, wasn't it, for a brief moment, breaking out of their half, being able to get back once they got that offload, but Ollie Woodburn just doubling up his efforts, getting off the ground here, does really well there. Watch him, bang, straight back up.
Keep up.
And then gets involved with that choke tackle, turnover ball. That kind of desperate defence wins you matches in the final quarter.
Armstrong does a really good job of lifting Randall up and then arching his back so his feet can't get back down. That allows all the other players to come in under the ball, complete that choke tackle.
Key part of the Premiership Cup side that went so well through September. It was one of the ways that the Chiefs built momentum into the season proper. Won 4 out of 5 in the Cup and really laid the foundations for what we've seen in the first few weeks of the Premiership season.
Round first.
I guess that plus some plus not losing too many to the Rugby World Cup, just 3 Chiefs on duty in France, so they were able to have a really meaningful, long pre-season, and they've maintained consistency of selection for the most part, which a lot of clubs have not done through the Cup into the Premiership, Ben.
Which they needed, because there was such a high turnover of players leaving, and some of it's obviously strategy, and Rob Baxter deserves a huge amount of credit for that. The fact that when your team has reached the top and maybe they've just started to go over the edge, a lot of coaches try and hold on to a lot of the players. Now I know they were getting big offers from elsewhere, and you can't necessarily compete with that, but to make such wholesale changes but not have too many in the World Cup has allowed them to almost get a start on other teams, and so far it's worked very well.
Yeah, Rob Baxter not willing to go too far as regards what it means these early weeks. Here a scrum penalty, a second consecutively that will cheer the coaching staff. He said, week on week we'll discover just how good this young group are, whether they can sustain their excellence. We're going to get tested every single week.
It's just starting to become a factor, isn't it? The scrums have been quite evenly matched, but that's 2 penalties really on the bounce against Laheath.
Keep coming,
and Bristol.
Here, please, gents. Wait, please, drop.
Again, his feet are quite a long way back. He ends up on his stomach, but you could definitely see just that slight drop of the right shoulder by Abeladze, almost lowering Laheath down, realising that he's off balance.
Man, Ross McMillan, by the way, the coach drafted in to assist Rob Hunter with the scrums, and they're really pleased with the impact he's made. Here's Skinner for Exeter. Oh, beautifully measured. I wonder if Heward was in touch when he brought that back in. He was, in the eyes of the assistant on this near side, Anthony Woodthorpe.
The ball was in touch, he wasn't. So the referee had already said it's not a 50-22 opportunity because the ball had been taken back into the half by Exeter.
Bernhard Janse van Rensburg being removed by Pat Lamb. James Williams has come on in the midfield, and the intercept here from Frost and the offload. It's all action stuff, but Hendrickson's lost it. And Bristol clear it away into touch. These are the moments right here, right now. 62, 63 minutes in.
Dan Frost, a quality player in the mould of Theo Dan. I mean, the intercept is excellent, but how about this for an offload?
All action. Dan Frost. Brought real fizz to the Chiefs since arriving from the bench, and
let's get the numbers right, please.
This line out really important.
2 meters. Yeah, I know he did. That's why
field position good. Prospects bright.
2 meters. Time on.
10 out of 11 have been successful in the line out for Exeter so far. It's Jenkins's ball, and away they come through Aidan Davis in the midfield. New man brought off the bench. Jenkins on the carry. And that's gone forwards. Knocked on, and Bristol can breathe again.
It's tough on Callum Sheedy there.
Let's check in with Sarah, who's with Jack Yendall.
I am with Jack Yendall. You've been off for a few minutes now, Jack. You've been sitting on that bike, but I haven't seen much pedalling going on.
I'm terrible for watching, terrible for watching.
You are a bad spectator, actually. OK, it's pretty tight at the moment, just a point in it, and you're being asked much more questions than you were last week.
Yeah, you've got to say fair play to Bristol. They're sort of slowing up breakdowns and just making it a little bit niggly. But we've also got to look at ourselves. You know, are we really bringing that sort of intensity and physicality to breakdowns and allowing ourselves that quick ball?
Because you came out at half-time with a bit of fire in your belly, didn't you? I'm just wondering what the message was at the break. Is there a few kind of individual errors in that first half, not clicking maybe as well as you have been?
Yeah, a little bit of, we're almost putting the pressure on ourselves by sort of drawing on those errors. When we're really flying, I think errors don't matter, you just get on with your next job. But again, the message sort of was applied the same thing as I said, and we did it really well. Tom got over in the corner, so hopefully we can get back to it and just start doing the simple things well.
a joy to watch you guys play this season. You've got a really good blend of like youth and experience. You were obviously one of the yeah, okay, we'll go with that. You're obviously one of the elder statesmen. Are you enjoying the dynamic?
Yeah, you know what? It's great fun to be part of, and I think it's just a really positive group at the moment. There's just a load of energy in sessions, and even when it's chucking it down with rain, boys are still having a laugh and enjoying it.
Okay, I'm going to let you carry on watching stroke pedalling more than you have been doing.
Until the SEC.
Thanks, Jack.
It's all right. Nobody's seen you, Jack. It's just fine. And Jack Yendall and Henry Slade, very much the driving force of the leadership group. Again, Rob Baxter saying in the week, he really felt Slade has been reinvigorated. Left out of the World Cup, huge disappointment. But the way he's responded has been magnificent. He's playing some of his best stuff.
He's playing some quality rugby. It's just how does he get himself back into that team. Joe Marchand, I thought, was very good right across the World Cup. He's off at Stade Francais.
What a scrum that is from Exeter. Randall's in all kinds of bother. The Chiefs pack really beginning to exert itself in the set piece. James Williams poised over the ball. And here's Fitzharding trying to use the footwork to evade the tacklers, but there's nowhere to breathe at the moment.
Let go of each other. Stop, you're off your feet. Stop.
Randall needing the sanctity of the touchline with the clearance. 15 minutes to go. It's a fascinating one, isn't it? And from a Chiefs perspective, I suppose, an altogether different dynamic from the other two home games here. They were out of sight very quickly against both Saracens and Sale, remarkably so. But now really having to dig in and battle their way through.
It'd be great for them if they see this game out and they end up winning. They're certainly just starting to get the upper hand, I think, particularly around the forward plate. Bristol now need a little bit of ball time themselves, a little bit of control themselves, but that's not going to come. Played in the air.
7 underneath.
And you'd expect this to go right into the corner. Well, maybe not. Would you go the points?
Make sure you go straight up and down as well.
Yeah, aiming at the corner, seemingly.
They've always done this. They've done this for 6-7 years, haven't they? They were the first team that shunned 3 points regularly to back themselves with the drive. But if you do that, you have to deliver in a 1 point game.
Just a little bit. Yeah, there, perfect, thank you.
Well, they're obviously feeling it. They know the momentum is with them. And now they've got the field position to do something with it. The soundtrack, very familiar in these parts. And the drive is being thwarted for the moment by Bristol, but for how long? Now the surge comes on.
That should be a yellow card.
Ball's available in here. Be onside.
Close goes Roots. Dan Thomas desperately trying to get a hand on it for the Bears. Crunch time in this contest, surely. Frost being driven onwards and then sideways. The tackles coming in thick and fast.
16, let go.
Roots again. Bears have gone through the 150 tackle mark, which is pretty significant. The penalty here from the advantage.
I don't think that could have been a more cynical collapse maul. It was moving towards the line.
Captain, number of penalties, okay, that's your warning. Don't need time. It's just number of penalties, back you go. Warning.
I mean, it's certainly not a penalty try.
5.
But if someone deliberately pulls down a maul that's moving quickly, and it was a proper tackle, it wasn't, there was not a, oh dear, I'm falling over and I've brought them all with me.
Yeah, he's been, how should we say this, understanding, Hamish Smales, hasn't he? But now then, the real questions that Bristol have to answer. Josefa Scott waits, and he's there now. The crunch point, surely. The bonus point, certainly. Exeter Chiefs breaking this deadlock. And Josefa Scott, a try last week, a try this week. Job not done, but they are inching their way there.
Well, we've talked about how Bristol loaded their bench and whether that would help them in the last 20 minutes, but it's the bench from Exeter that have come on and made a massive impact, particularly those front row boys at the scrum. And Josefa Scott rides that first tackle yet again, steps out of it And then the support play in behind him of Tuima to drive him over the line. Abaladze in behind as well. That leg drive, they get him to the line, he finds the grass.
How big's this kick now?
Well, a big try from a big man, and now a significant kick as well to take Chiefs outside the confines of a converted try. From 5 metres in from the left-hand side of touch, Henry Slade, left-footed. Agonisingly across the face from Slade. So Bristol still in with a shout. Obviously lots of time left. 11 minutes will feel like an eternity. The Chiefs with a bonus point for their 4 tries. That's now 3 try bonuses in their 4 matches. And it's what they always used to do, isn't it? When they won, they generally won with the 4 tries. They got the extra point. When they lost in the glory days, they were losing within 7. They were always taking something out of every game.
Okay, use it, please.
Niall Armstrong goes really high. It's a very, very good kick, and Noah Hewitt can't hold on to it. Ibitoye has it. Woodburn has him, and in comes Frost, needless to say, and Jenkins too.
Be onside.
What have Bristol got left in them? Thacker. The ball robbed by Tuima.
Onside here. Use it.
And again, you could just feel all the energy around Sandy Park gather in behind those in black. Davis stopped in his tracks by Thomas. Armstrong decides to go to the boot. Hewitts hurried, did well, did really well.
No, thank you.
Talking about the skullduggery before, just watch Dan Frost at the breakdown here, how he shapes his body. He's in at the bottom there, he spins round, makes it really, really difficult for Randall, putting his foot. You're not allowed to do that, it's right in front of the referee. But then the line speed's good, they've slowed down Bristol's play and they end up making the turnover on Thacker.
Time on, hold on. Blood here.
Muscular work from
Time off, please.
Russ Tuima, and some
Let's go.
sly work from Dan Frost this time.
He's made an impact, hasn't he, since he came on?
Just a little bit. We keep saying it, but time and again we see the players that lost their jobs from the collapse of those 3 clubs have brought something very special to each of their new environments. Just helping everybody understand just how lucky they are to do what they do in the environment that they do it in. And there's a desperation there to maximise their opportunities.
I thought he was great at Wasps, though. He was absolutely superb, particularly in that impact role, coming off the bench when everyone else is a bit fatigued.
Good contest.
Tuima with line-out ball and a good drive as well here, but Thacker's onto him. Armstrong in danger of being caught, and very much caught this time by Ed Holmes, but
just high.
Too high.
Just a high shot. Changing directions, changing
Holmes,
angles, just
another former
go,
Chief, wearing 19.
There you go.
As Flats would say, taking the bins out. And that's a decent nudge from Skinner. Deep inside the 22. 8.5 minutes remaining.
Just on the man, please.
That penalty count has been one to hurt the Bristol Bears this afternoon.
Alongside territory and possession.
Step please. Thank you. Yeah. Time on, please.
O'Connor for Heward in the back division for Bristol on the wing. Line out ball one through the fingertips of Jenkins. Josefa Scott hit hard in the midfield. But the Chiefs machine just beginning to move properly into gear. Another excellent drive from Vermeulen, but Bears throwing everything at this defensively. Woodburn. Abuladze. Roots. Bristol able to shut down those close to the rock seemingly at the moment. A little bit of pressure from Hawkins this time. Joe Hawkins, the Welsh international. Now they move the point of attack nicely, and Jenkins is onto it. Tuima. Armstrong wants it. Instead, it's taken on by Roots. And he sets it up nicely. To the short side they go. Vermeulen trying to work his way through the traffic, some of it his own. Armstrong is caught. The ball is stripped by Batley. What a vital intervention, but O'Connor's kick is charged down.
Kicked into his own man, so it's going to be a scrum.
Foster was stripped, wasn't it? He was just looking at where he's going to pass the ball and left the ball on his right hip. Really big intervention. Lots of phases.
Okay, time off, please.
Batley, who gets in there, gets his hand on it.
Legal strip, which went backwards, and then kicked into his own man.
Can you just watch the weight?
Yes,
into his own man. So Exeter have a chance to finish the job here. Slade calling his men in.
Woolmore almost also having a discussion with referee Hamish Smalls just about where they see that Exeter have been winning this scrum battle, just on his own line, desperate to get in the referee's mind. Just put a few little things for him to look at.
There's the home record. It's been a long old time since they were last beaten here. October last year by Saracens. Sandy Park, a very, very tough place these days to come away with a victory, and Bristol see their hopes at the moment hanging by a thread. Can they get it done here, Exeter? End the argument. Head to the top of the league. That's the prize for Rob Baxter's men with a bonus point victory. They've got a scrum penalty. Another.
He's going to talk to Laheath here. Warning on a yellow.
Tired this side, tired. Okay, so there's been 3 penalties, that's one.
Extra kudos heading Ross McMillan's way, potentially. By the way, if there's a penalty try from the scrum, Ross McMillan's promised cake for all.
It's exactly the same battle that's been happening since these two have been on together. You can see that without doubt there's an element of Abuladze taking that down, but he's holding his own weight. He's staying on his feet, and because Laheath's feet are so far back, he can't hold that weight. That's why he feels so aggrieved, because he doesn't feel he's the one taking it down, but he's the first one to go on his belly.
So this to go 9 clear with 5 minutes to play.
Thank you.
Straight and true from Slade. Chiefs fans know they're close. It's not beyond the realms for Bristol, but it's looking very, very tough. They have to act fast and decisively. Sheedy goes long. Ibitoya. Brought down on halfway by Frost. Randall to Holmes.
Penalty advantage.
With a penalty advantage.
Randall's down. They need someone to fill in at scrum half.
Number 10, late shot.
Late tackle from Harvey Skinner, allowing for field position from Sheedy. Fine kick.
Decent kick.
This will be the first visit for Bristol if completed since the 34th minute.
Time's off.
It's been a game totally dominated in the second half by Exeter. 70% possession, over 70% territory as well.
Those kind of statistics not really borne out on the scoreboard as we discussed at half-time, but they've done so well to hang in, and they've worked incredibly hard, Bristol, haven't they? They've made a mountain of tackles. They're approaching the 200 tackle mark. 193 to this point.
Okay. Time on, let's go.
And at the moment they sit outside of a losing bonus point. Maybe that will change now. Thomas to Randall, the inside ball. It couldn't find its way to O'Connor.
Yeah, it was. Black hand in the tackle.
So first is off Black, okay, and then second by White. Okay,
Bristol scrum. Time for our player of the match, Hugo.
Well, I think the Exeter pack have been excellent, especially in the second half. Had to dig in, Vermeulen, Roots, Vincent. But I've got to give it to Rusi Tuima. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal today. The line-up's been a real source of profitability from them. His work rate, his involvements, his positivity. He's our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Crouch! Bind! Pre-engage that far side. Pre-engage on that far side.
Okay. About Bristol getting the ball so quickly out of that line out. They really need a penalty, because if they're going to go on and win this, they need that penalty anyway. They need it to get back to within a bonus point territory. They could have probably forced the penalty more easily at a line out drive than they could playing into midfield.
Patience.
And particularly with the way the scrum's going.
Yeah, let's not forget as well that another try here gives them the try bonus, so they could leave here with 2.
That's true, yeah.
2 points on offer for the Bears. But work to be done in the scrum, which has been problematic for them recently. Solid enough for Randall, who's being harassed at the base. Was that a deliberate knockdown? It was from Niall Armstrong.
No, it was a 9 slap down.
Should be 10 more metres. Skinner's run off. That's wasted another 20 seconds on the clock.
Post called. Stay where you are. 16,
and they want 3 to bring them within losing bonus point territory, and that was pretty cynical from Niall Armstrong. James Williams is the man waiting over the ball. Oh, he's missed it. Seemed routine.
Why is Callum Sheedy not kicking? He's on the pitch.
Ball's coming in from the back.
It's his first kick at goal. Hey, that's a gimme.
It seemed hurried because they're desperate to get back and have another crack, given they've still got limited amount of time on the clock. But goodness me, he's not taken the necessary care. And
let's go, please.
Now it's likely Bristol will leave empty-handed. Skinner just about touched his boot, did it? For his sake, let's hope so. All the highlights coming your way directly after this match is concluded in a few moments' time. Chiefs have battled really hard today. They blew Sarries away here, they blew Sale away here. But today, an altogether different kind of contest. A very hard-fought victory. 4 wins from 5 now. The Exeter Chiefs. Perhaps the start of a long road to a new Exeter dynasty. All 5 points Tries from Tuima, Painter, Wyatt and Josefa Scott, and they've left Bristol Bears with nothing. Full-time Exeter 29, Bristol 20.